Hey guys, Reggie Racing here. This is my 2016 Nissan 370Z NISMO, and I bought it as a salvage title. Now I'm going to tell you guys how the whole process works, and at the end of this video, you'll be able to judge for yourself whether this is something you want to do or stick the hell away from. Let's go. Oh, solid! Before I get this video started, I just want to say thank you to anybody who's watching this and watched my videos before. I appreciate that you're coming back. I know it's been a long time since my last upload, but look at this thing. We're going to try to make more uploads, and I really appreciate you being here because right now I sort of feel like I'm by myself. Yeah, except for that guy, you know. But I feel like I'm alone in here, so thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Okay, so first off, why a 370Z? Now, around like last year, I sort of started becoming interested in these cars after seeing, a bunch of car reviewers giving this car a ton of praise and saying how well it handles, performance, and how incredibly outdated it is. And all of that stuff really honestly won me over. And then I had my eyes set on a 370. Me being a dumb young man, came home to my parents and said, hey, you know what guys, I think it'd be a great idea for me to go ahead and try to finance one of these cars because I really want to get into one. How does that sound? And then my dad, Vin Diesel, by the way, no joke, he is actually Vin Diesel. He said to me in his Vin Diesel voice,
don't finance a car, let's buy a salvage car. I want the best for you. Because you're my family.
Okay. He didn't say that exactly. So once my dad put that idea in my head, we started looking for salvage title cars. Now let me explain salvage title cars, and then in a minute I'll explain the perks of these cars. Basically, a salvage title is given to a car when it's been in a wreck, and whatever the car's insurance was, they deem it a total loss, and they get their claims and whatever, and now that car is just sitting around with this title so people know that it was in a wreck before. Now here's a perk with buying a car that has a salvage title is that you can get them for pretty much a fraction of, the sticker price that you get at a dealership, or even a fraction of what they'd be worth on the used market. For example, you may know Salvage. I totally said his channel name wrong. I have no idea how to say it. But he recently just bought a McLaren 675 LT, my dream car, by the way. And that car goes from $300,000 to $400,000, and he got it for less than 100 grand. Albeit, it's gonna add up trying to repair that car, but if you take it down a few levels, getting into a sports car like this, it becomes a pretty tasty idea.
Dream car check, dream car.
So with that understanding of what we get into with a salvage car, the search for a 370Z NISMO began. But then our search came to an end because we found this car, except this is how it looked. When we found this car was located in California, and we live in Florida. It's across the country. We were not gonna go see this car, but the pictures we did have to go off and description of the vehicle made it seem like all the mechanics were fine and it was just cosmetic. But was it? It was. Don't worry, it wasn't that bad. I lucked out, I really did. And honestly, it's good that I continued to wait for something like this to come up and I didn't jump at the first 370Z NISMO I saw. So let me walk you through the bits that were damaged. The front fender underneath the Z logo here, totally dented. Driver's side door, destroyed, absolutely demolished. And the Recaro bucket seats, which we will talk about later. Oh my God, those were dented in. And that was probably one of the biggest headaches in this car. And then the rear quarter panel, that was also pushed in. So the car was fucked up. Not gonna lie, like it's not something you would want to cruise down the street in. Yeah, but as you can see now, It is in pristine, nearly OEM condition. So how did we get there? Well, first off, we had to buy the damn car, except you can't just buy salvage cars like that. Most of the time, they're auctioned off. So this car was auctioned off. And let me tell you about that process. So I know when I say auction, you're probably thinking of when people go like, $750. Except it wasn't like that this time around because of COVID-19. This made the auctions digital. And no, not digital like your Zoom class, digital like a video game pretty much. Auction day came around and this car's number I think was 342 on the lot, so we had to wait for 340 cars to go by and whatever, and then you would just press a plus little button on your phone and you better have had a good ass connection, and that's how you increase your bid and whatever. Now before I continue with the auction experience, I need to give you guys some background info on this car and its prices. And at the end, we're gonna add up all the prices and see the grand total of this vehicle, because this auction price will not be the end. And we'll see how much money has been saved from, say, buying it from a Nissan dealership or buying it on the used market. If you try to get this car new out of the box, it is gonna cost you a hefty 40 plus grand. And that is a hard pill to swallow. And that is one of the biggest problems with this car, because as much as I love it, it is not a $40,000 vehicle. Now, things get a little bit more reasonable in the used market, where you can find these from 30 grand to all the way up to 36 grand, and it honestly just depends on the model year at that point. Now, let's get back into the auction day. Things were heated, going back and forth with someone else who was trying to compete with this car. We'll never know who it was because it was digital, and you know. But at the end of the day, this is the price we got it at. So now the car was ours, except it wasn't with us. We had to get it from California all the way to Florida. It's a lot more than that. So this will be the first fee that we're gonna add up onto the total car's value, and we called the company to go pick up this car from California and bring it back to Florida, and that costed us $1,300 to ship it from there to here. So let's add that. Then after some time, the car found itself in Florida at the body shop it would be fixed at. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys the price of everything. Repair costs, and also all the little bits that we bought ourselves. So once we were at the body shop, it was time to throw down some money and slap on some parts. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys how much all of that costed. So first off, our grand total for the labor cost was actually pretty reasonable, and it was $1,500. The new door, $400. Curtain airbag, $245. B-pillar, $50. Door plate, $23. Interior door panel, $150. New fender, $160. And the Recaro seat airbag, which was a pain in the fucking ass to find. Wow, $900 for that little piece. Then, after weeks of ripping off old parts, molding new parts, fixing up things, repainting this, doing that, doing this, blah, 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 the car was finally ready. Except for that one day I crashed my fucking car. Yep. So I don't know if I mentioned, but this car is stick shift, and I've never driven a stick shift car before. So one day we pulled up to the lot and my dad said, hey, go turn on the car and just keep it running because we needed to go move it into a service bay or whatever to do some more stuff on it, or just move it out the way. I can't remember exactly. And it was left in first gear, and I was, on Snapchat recording my car, blah, blah, blah. And then I finished recording and I let my feet off the brake and the clutch, and my car went straight into the back of an Infiniti G35. And let me tell you, my dad was pissed. Like, that was some Fast and Furious 10 type shit that he unleashed on me. Like, you have no idea. Wow, that was a bad day. But it's okay because although the damage looked bad in that initial impact, I guess it was so hot later, the bumper here, the bumper here reshaped itself, and all that was damaged was this little plastic piece there. And they fixed it up and spray painted it, and at some angles it looks kind of bad, but you can't tell. And you wouldn't have known if I didn't tell you that, but I did, because I want to be honest. Then after that hiccup, the car was ready again. You might be asking, ready for what? Like, you can just drive it? No, the car, salvage title cars, you can't just drive out on the street. They're pretty much deemed illegal because they're no longer safe. Their airbags have gone off, blah, blah, blah. So we have to get the car inspected and, earn itself a rebuilt title, which is different from salvage because it's in the name. It's been rebuilt to meet road safety laws and all that. That's why we had to buy all the airbags, because if it was up to me, I don't give a shit. I wouldn't have put airbags in it. And $900. So the inspection would take place in Miami and not Orlando. The reason being is because Orlando appointments, like, you have to schedule them in advance, and it takes a few weeks, for that slot to be available and blah, blah, blah. And we wanted this car done as quickly as possible. And that body shop, whenever they were gonna get their cars inspected, which of course they would do regularly, they would always send them down to Miami because time is money, And the cost to send this car to Miami would be $400, but it would be back the same day. They'd go see it, check all the codes and the airbags and everything and the damage, and then they would approve or disapprove. And our car was set to be approved, except it was not approved. It failed its inspection, not because anything was wrong or because there was an issue with the car, but because we did not provide a receipt for the seat airbag. Therefore, they could not let us pass the inspection without that receipt. Why? I don't really know. Like, the airbag's there. You can pop the cover open and see there's an airbag in there, but they need the receipt. They sent it back to Orlando and said, hey, it didn't pass. That was very frustrating because the car had already been there for 2 months, pretty much. But it's okay because for the low price of $400, you can try again. Just send the receipt this time. And that's exactly what we did. And the receipt was sent, and this car came back from Miami and sat in my garage without a plate for a bit until I got that plate. $800 to send it to Miami, all that, blah, blah, blah. Pretty shitty, but it's okay because anything to get the car home. The registration process was actually pretty quick. Same day as the inspection, pretty much, maybe the span of 2 days, but after it was certified and a little sticker to show it inside the door, it was registered, and that was just $1,200. I don't know. To register the car, it was $1,200 because of state tax and some extra fees and blah, blah, blah. But this is it. It's been all clear, all good to go. Now, I gave you guys a very basic rundown of all the events with this car, because if I gave you like a, very linear, super detailed story, we'd be here for over half an hour, because a lot happened to this car. I've had it for 3 months, but I've only been driving it for a week. So there's your context on that. But I need to tell you my feelings about this whole process. And it was very tedious, very stressful, and sometimes almost seemed hopeless when we couldn't find specific parts like the seat airbag for the Recaro seats. And there was even a moment, I mentioned this earlier, the Recaro seats were causing a lot of stress because you can't really find Recaro seats for sale, not one of them at least, because we needed the drivers because it was dented in. And if you could, they would be worth thousands. They were worth $3,000 at times, and that's honestly too much for just seats. But luckily my dad was able to mold them back into their original shape, and they're not perfect. The whole car is not perfect, but we did a good job. And you know, big thanks to my dad for giving me the opportunity to help me do this project and bring it to life, and everybody else who helped with all that. But yeah, there was just I don't know, like at the end of the day, it did save us a lot of money. Here is the prices of a, you know, what's it called? Car from the dealership right there, and used market. And here is the grand total of our car right here. I don't know what it is yet because I have not added it up, so I'm not saying it out loud, but it's right here. I don't know. It saved me a lot of money, but I don't know if I'd ever do it again. But now you guys know the whole process, so it'll be up to you if you really want to get into that. But definitely, you need to have it'd be very difficult to do this on your own. You need to know people who can help you. You need to have connections, and you really have to have the heart to stick it out, because there was sometimes where I was just like, man, I don't know if this car is ever going to be done, but it's done. And it's here, and I cannot wait to show you guys more of this car in our future adventures. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun with it. So please subscribe if you learned something new, or if you just want to see those adventures. And I can't wait to see you guys again next time. Thank you for watching.